So for those people who are tuning into the video at this point, we did a series of problems called the end of the opening. And what is the characteristic of the end of the opening? Do you guys find anything in these problems? What about invade? Invade on every problem.
Yes.
Wait, so that was a question that we had, was do we have to decide whether to invade or not, or whether to finish?
So here's the big hint for most of these problems, is that an invasion officially starts what in a game of Go?
Middle game.
Middle game. So if I'm telling you all of these problems are the end of the opening,
Okay, so no
it's a really big hint.
It's good.
Very big hint. Almost no invasions.
Almost.
I can't quite remember if there were absolutely no invasions. I'm pretty sure there were. I don't know, we'll find out. But anyway, all these problems are black to play. And basically have to do with something you have to do at the end of the opening. So what are you trying to do at the end of the opening? Take what? Big. Take the biggest point, right? It's basically take the biggest move, wherever that might be. All right, so how many of you guys got to look at this problem? Only half? Okay, some other people don't want to admit it. Okay, I see. So what are your ideas? What's going on? Give me a little analysis, breakdown of what this board is like. What's weak, what's strong? There are stones on the board.
We're thinking like black goes somewhere on the start point.
Okay,
But
why?
we thought if then white can jump out and then expand his moil. So we thought maybe black should go here first.
Ah, interesting idea. So
Something like that.
this way. Okay, is there any problems this way?
This is still pretty open.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're still going to get attacked.
Yeah.
And how do we want to use our thickness?
Push here.
We usually want to use it to attack. So, in the end, if white's going to run us this way, even though we might be reducing the potential of these white points, white's going to be making all these points pretty much for sure. Right, if we have to run, white will have time to play all these moves. So we don't necessarily just want to run. We want to find a move that does multiple things. We want to find a move that maybe reduces white's potential a little bit. We want to find a move that protects ourselves, gives ourselves a base. We also want to find a move that might actually give us some points.
About somewhere over here.
Somewhere over here. So like here?
Yeah.
Okay, where would you play as white?
I guess I would protect.
Yeah, this is weak too for white.
Yeah.
But here's my question to all you. Is this weaker than this?
Yeah. Same problem.
That hurts.
Yeah.
That hurts. In fact, this giant potential we had was basically just completely nullified because white's going to eat us if we don't start to run out.
That's why something on this side to give this group.
Yeah. So
Some unfinished.
what's the normal move to make a base here? But this is terrible.
Yeah.
It's really low.
That's why I was thinking high.
Yeah, low. So what are other options?
Up one high.
Here?
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, this is the most normal move. In fact, this is the correct move. So what does this move do?
It makes you higher.
Yep,
and
it actually gives us
prevents you-
potential. It's strong, relatively. White can still sort of annoy us. But as long as white's weak here and white's weak here, it's not going to be that much of a problem. Sorry. Because if white runs out, well, all you have to do is just keep these split,
Run for a while.
and we're safe over here, we're safe over here. And maybe while white's running, we'll get thickness over here, which then means what, folks?
Attack the farce.
During the middle game, right, we can do something crazy in here, attach, come up, even reduce the spirit. We already have this undercut, so we don't actually need to invade very strongly.
I feel like black still doesn't have much potential for points.
How many points does white have?
Yeah, I guess.
It doesn't matter how many you have, it matters how many you have compared to your opponent.
Yeah, black's got 3 corners.
Yeah, really.
We're working on that.
And
yes.
white's just got one side.
Too,
and
this whole area looks
couple-
kind of pretty thin.
It is, but white is also thin nearby.
Okay.
So, it's not like we're under any real threat. Unlike these two stones are under a real threat. Right. If we decide, you know what, hey, we really just want to
Two weak groups will end up strengthening each
I
other.
don't know, get out over here. Yeah, we're gonna get punished.
So that's sort of urgent to do.
Very
some
urgent.
protection, yeah.
Yeah. So if you do anything over here, give yourself a B.
If you can make a move that makes a more serious threat to what somewhere else, what probably won't come right in there.
Okay, where's the serious move to white?
Well, I'm saying if.
If the board was different.
I don't know. I don't know if there is a good move for black. But I'm just saying theoretically, if black had a really strong move somewhere else,
Yeah, I mean-
maybe white wouldn't be attacking immediately.
There are moves like this.
Yeah, that seems.
Unimpressed.
That's probably the most severe thing on this board, quite honestly, after that.
Yeah.
But are you sure this is going to end in Sente? You might just get it, white just might give you a whole bunch of points and then take Sente and
Yeah.
get out. But this is severe. I mean, this is something, right? If white, tries to cut you off from linking up, you split white over here. Now all of a sudden we've got some fun attacking business going on. So we'll probably just do this.
That would be
That would
middle game.
be middle game. That would be middle game. All right, good. You guys feel good about this one? So urgent, right? Two stones don't have a base. Urgent. All right, good. Next board.
You got it.
How many people got that one? How many people had the right idea? How many people got
It's on the right side.
something over here? A B? A B. Okay, good. How many people got to look at this problem? Almost everybody. What's going on in this game?
Black's playing Cosmic Go.
Black is playing
Black
Takamiya style, which we talked about last week. So
Which
what
would
is
mean he's not interested in that corner down at the camera's lower right.
I mean, only mildly.
Yeah.
What would Black really like?
More
More
influence.
outside.
The center.
Yeah.
Okay. Does Black have any weak groups that could be attacked that would prevent him from getting the center?
Well, it seems like white's got at least two different directions to run into the center, which would,
That would prevent Black from getting the center, wouldn't it?
yeah, two
Okay.
different directions.
Is one of those directions more easy for White to run in?
The bottom's easier.
Yeah, the bottom towards the camera is wide open.
Is easier. I would actually disagree with this statement.
Because it's too spread out on the bottom.
Well, first of all, there's a lot of space for Black to cut and do things over here. But there is another consideration, right? In a Go game, we care about territory, we care about who has more points, but we also care about weaknesses. Where is Black weak, if anywhere?
Right there.
Middle on the left.
Yeah, this
Also-
group is not entirely safe, nor actually has eyes, and you can do all sorts of fun poking moves. So,
It also looks like white could make a clear jump underneath black there, so does black really care? But
which jump are we talking about?
Upper
White
right.
can really easily come into here.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
But I don't know if there's any way this.
Okay, so you could say, you know what, this is a really big move, right? Trying to prevent White from getting in there. But that's a move that only does one thing,
And it's not Sente.
and it's not Sente. I would like to find a move that does at least two things and is some sort of Sente.
Maybe try to connect these two groups.
Yeah, connecting these two groups would be fantastic, right? Because look, this entire thing turns into a black hole. We solve our weakness problem. As long as this is connected, it's no longer weak. And is there a way to find a move that would force White to respond? Is it Sente?
Maybe.
Maya, what do you think? Can you show us? Let's say White plays over here. You play black. White didn't respond to our move. Time to punish.
Eat them up, yeah.
Yeah, make a cut. Either cut will punish, depending on what you want or what you think is bigger. The very least, black's going to at least capture 2 stones. And probably in Sente because black will be able to capture 2 more if white does nothing. You guys see how that works? It's kind of fun. So, if white defends over here, that's probably worse for white. Okay, so this is, oops, that one there. This is actually a really obnoxious move for white to deal with. In fact, we could probably almost call it Sente. Almost. Well, white might decide that there's something bigger than these, stones over here. Or white finds a novel way to deal with it that minimizes the loss. But it does 2 things, and it gives us follow-ups, even if it's not perfect Sente. And white will probably respond in all likelihood. So that's pretty good, right?
I feel good.
That's the type of move we're looking for, right?
So the disadvantage of something like this would just because then it's definitely not Sente, right?
Yeah, white doesn't feel nearly as compelled to respond, but it's much stronger.
But isn't, when it's close in like this, does black maybe need to make a follow-up move on that?
So let's look. If white cuts,
You can give up that stone.
yeah, he just gives up a stone.
Yeah, I don't know if that does it.
Doesn't.
Yeah, that might do it.
Yeah, if you do this way, it's
It's nice, yeah.
Don't even give up a stone.
Okay, but then we're up.
but now you're fighting. If you cut here, you're fighting in black hole land.
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
That's black's house.
Oh, you got those. Okay. You can have that one. That's fine. And now I'll come over here and maybe play movement.
Nice.
Make the whole blacker. Takamiya.
Plus, I don't think that white stone's still in the corner.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's not there yet. Okay. Cool. All right, carry on.
You can also get outside if we get it up there.
All right, this I think was actually one of the more difficult problems for me personally. And I put it on because it's actually a very, very likely type of situation you have in your own games. Like, it really doesn't look that uncommon, quite honestly. But, for me, this was a difficult problem because you have to be a little bit novel in your thinking. What's going on in this game?
White has a giant wall.
White has really the biggest wall ever if you go all the way from here to here, coast to coast. So a giant wall might be an understatement.
The Great Wall.
White has the Great Wall.
Black potentially has the hinterland.
Can we insert a Trump joke here?
I guess if you have a good one.
No, I'm just saying.
So it's black to play. What does black want to prevent?
White's giant wall. Finishing the wall.
Connecting.
Extending.
Expanding from the wall.
Yeah, really expanding from the wall. That's the really scary part. Finishing the wall is not so important.
Yeah. I wanted something on the bottom to prevent white from extending. Because white's already got an extension up here, so I don't want to do something up here.
Yeah, but what to do?
It's hard to extend from the 4/4.
I want just like a
Large.
So this would be the type of move that I would play in my game. And this is not the move that is the quote-unquote correct answer. But when I first solved the problem, this is what I would have played.
Okay, I feel okay about my answer.
Why would you feel okay about this?
Why would I feel okay?
Yeah.
Black has 4 corners. White's territory is undefined at the current moment. There's still a lot of go left to be played.
You want to play in the center? I know.
No, well, it's more subtle than this. It's more subtle. What's most important to white? What's like the most important thing for white? What part of the board? Center. So all we're going to do is take this one little stone and just put it there.
Whoa.
And so this is why I got this problem wrong when I first looked at the book.
Okay, fair.
Well, I was thinking, it taking the viewpoint that center is most important for white, I was thinking plunk a stone right down to the center, one that's got multiple routes.
So
Multiple routes to the safety in one direction or another.
does that qualify as doing multiple things? Because you only need one good route. You don't.
What I'm saying, if there's at least two routes, then white can take the best. And
Sure, but it doesn't build anything.
I'm saying, like, to the extent that black can run, then it should be safe. So doesn't that most annoy white?
Sure, but you're still playing a single track move.
Oh, okay.
And if you play there, chances are white's going to play this immediately.
And then you.
And you know, white has a lot of time to ignore that actually and build some other
Well,
things.
so black says, okay, fine.
I mean, this is a game. It's a game, but it's not clear what your stone's going to be doing.
I feel like
If you
white's
can't
gonna
use it,
do
it's a
lot.
wasted move.
Yeah, if you never end up using it, it's definitely going to be a wasted move. Whereas this, if white says, you know what, I want to make this.
Now you play the center.
Well, I'm just saying, white built something, I built something. It took me a lot fewer stones to do it. My moves are better.
That's what I was saying. White has to make so many moves to do something with that wall.
Yeah, I mean, white's got one side of the house.
Yeah, and then if white does something like this, now we start saying, okay, now we need to figure out the best way to reduce. But we've just gained almost 25 points here. I mean, white really didn't. White, if we already concede that white already had this, white basically gained the same amount, and we didn't put any of ourselves at risk. So I don't know. This feels very good to me. And then we can just come in here and maybe just play this. Or if we want to do something more grand, probably there.
Would one more over be too deep?
It gives white the chance. This is like a really good question that comes up in a lot of people's games, where counting is really valuable. If I don't need to play this is risky, right? This is very dangerous. I'm a little bit uncomfortable by how many white stones are surrounding the area. So if I can, I would like to play this. If white just marks all this off as points, what's the score?
Black wins.
Well, I'm just saying this is where you have to count it. This is where you have to be good at counting. If white doesn't win, just play this one. If you need a little bit more, if white does win, then you play this one.
Okay, so if you're not quite certain, you're taking some chance on what you think the score is going to be. But if you think you're close, you might want to push it a little bit more. If you think you're safe, you play it all more conservative.
That's close enough to what I'm saying, sure.
Yeah, more or less, not good.
Okay? So anyway, what is this problem? What do we learn from this problem? Normal move for us would be here, right?
Yeah.
If we want to usually place more importance on reducing, we usually play there. This takes less territory. This is a lot easier to invade, but it's more of a reduction. But we want to go one step further in this problem.
Take away what the opponent wants.
Counter some of.
Yeah, we should go one other line.
So lean into the opponent's area of desire.
Yeah, basically do two things, right? Push into the opponent while building.
I mean, this would give. I mean, normally you'd play the third line because you don't want white sneaking under there. But in this case, if white wants to sneak under there, you'll say fine.
That's right. Well, I already have 3 other corners that are
Yeah.
pretty solid. White, I'm willing to give white this corner if it means that I'll get the ability to counter all of this white thickness. Cool? All right.
Let's go to this one next because it's almost like that one.
It's almost like that one. We're going to do these. Wait, did I? Oh, this is a different problem. Good.
I think he has all the power.
All right, what do you guys get for an answer here?
Someplace over there.
Someplace over here. I think this one's tricky,
What
but
about here?
how about here? So we have some votes for over here. We have some votes for over here. Does anyone vote over here?
No.
Oh, maybe it's the same problem as the first one? No,
No,
I think
'cause
the
it
corners
can-
of
it can go either
Yeah,
way.
that's true.
Good, good. All right, so first, this is actually not important.
Yeah.
Why is this not important?
Oh, use black is safe.
Yeah, black can make a base this way and build this. Black can make a base and build this way over this. And in fact, whichever one black wants, white will probably end up with the other at some point in the future. And furthermore, if you try to take away white's base, it doesn't really work that well because white already has a base. So, not interesting. Like, there's a whole lot of flexible stuff going on, but no one's ever really going to become weak. And if there's no weakness, it's probably not that urgent. Okay, let's look over here. Is there any weakness over here?
Yeah. Here.
Not as weak as you think.
It's not necessarily weak, but like there's a lot of potential. I feel like if white gets to approach that corner or something like that.
Potential on the other side is bigger.
Yeah, white will probably play here right now.
Yeah.
Are we there? Maybe even just there? This would feel pretty good for white, actually. Do you have unless you have a really good follow-up here, it feels like you lost momentum. So what's the follow-up here? Oh, you like to die.
No, it's the one space.
Space below it.
Yeah, second line.
Actually,
That's better.
You have to, you have to go.
This is better, but still, white can just say I don't really care. But white also might be able to counterattack too, and this might be a little bit too strong of a way of playing. Yeah, white probably needs to have something else over here before he does this. But we also know white can get something over here, right? If white can make this exchange too, maybe. I don't know. This is not a weak shape for white.
Okay.
So why is it not weak?
3-point wall with a 3-point extension.
Yeah, normally we only need 2 to get a 3-space extension, right? Right? If we have 1 stone, 2 spaces.
Actually pretty close.
2 stones, 3 spaces, 3 stones. This should be here. This is already a little bit tighter, a little bit more defensive than it needs to be. And that's why this move is not that valuable. If this was this way, and black played here, that would be a little bit more of an issue, because now when black invades here, this doesn't work as well. But it's not, it's over here, so now this is just dead.
Yeah, I'll pause it.
So it has to do with follow-up. So that's what makes this as a hard problem, I think, is that if you want to play this side of the board, you have to recognize white has potential here. Like, this is a big move for sure. But if black plays there first, it's not really putting enough pressure on white. It's not. We want to do 2 things, right, with our moves. It's doing like 1.5.
So how about maybe not this far?
So it does 1.25.
Even less.
Now you're just taking the corner, kind of.
Well, if you go there,
You should
and
go
then
the
black
other.
approaches on the other side. Maybe if you play on the 3rd line, black.
Which one?
And then when we're okay, yeah, right there. And then if white approaches on the other side,
We'll
wherever white wants to approach, okay, does this still leave? Can black
Actually,
now
white
play
will probably
between-
play this.
Yeah.
Yeah, white will
If,
probably
say,
play
if white approaches, black jumps in the middle because.
yeah, but
this
white
is-
doesn't approach now. White plays here now.
Yeah, okay, so you can still, black still has a choice of going out, right?
This felt like a bad exchange for black, though.
Maybe say 6 points for black and 10 points for white.
Yeah. Well, and also these 2 stones are not that strong.
And that corner's not at all.
And so if white gets this is actually really easy to turn into points because there's a weak group nearby, right? A weak group means you get a bunch of free stuff. So if you want to cash in their free stuff, just to boom, make a wall here and just score 30 points for fun. I mean, very easy to do with a weak group. So this is a problem where you just have to play the biggest move. Yeah, probably there. Why not high? You could play high. This if you play this, I can't say this is wrong. Like, I can't say anything bad about it. But I would default to low. Why?
to make
It's
a base.
the other stone is on the third line as well.
Yeah, well, you have a black stone and a white stone. So when you're black and you're extending towards your opponent, you kind of want to dig in a little bit as you get closer to them, be more defensive. If you play this, it gives your opponent a nice extension later on.
That you have to respond to.
That's right. And so if you respond to this move here, let me show you the difference. Let's say you started with this move, white plays here, now you're going to play there. So it's, I mean, you can even do Tewari analysis, right, and flip the moves around and say that, you know, this might be, if you're going to respond to another move here, you're going to have a third and fifth line combination. But anyway, this is a problem where you sort of have to recognize everything on the board is uninteresting. Play the biggest move. That's what makes it hard, right? That's why Go is hard. All these other problems had interesting things going on, but let's go over there. Oh, like that? Feels like you're giving up points. Yeah. You're not, this is not building anything serious. All right. I saw people looking at this problem. What did you come up with?
Top move.
That is weak. That's the interesting part of the board, isn't it? And if white can attack that, what will white get in compensation for territory?
A lot.
Yeah, like, even though this looks very thin right now, can you imagine what this could turn into? You know, if white gets just a whole bunch of free moves over here. There's still not two eyes here, right? So we'd still need to find a move. Probably not this one, but this is going to get big very quickly because white can get a bunch of free stuff. So,
One of my considerations on that was, is that urgently needing attention, or
that's the question. That's the hard part about Go, because where else would black really like to play?
Some top center.
Break up the double wing.
Oh, black to play.
Or down there.
This would be very nice development for black, right? Black would be super happy to get this move. Because now we're threatening to make, you know, a pretty clean, like, 60 points on that side of the board. And that's a lot. But
That's more.
that could be more.
What if black played somewhere here?
Ah, this is dangerous. This is crazy Go.
That's what I was going to play.
You want to think about it?
Because what if white just sort of leans on this and then comes back and black has another move in here. So maybe there's another white move. No one's safe yet.
Makes an interesting game.
Actually, white would probably play here instead of responding right now, but that's crazy. But it's something to consider. But here's what I do want to point out. What if black plays here? Does this move do two things?
Now it looks at that invasion.
Yeah, what are the two things it does?
Because
It protects this,
And separate.
and now we're aiming to do this. And now, you know, can white lean on us over here? No, so white has to run. But that's fine. I'm happy to run if white can run. This is fine. You hate that? You hate that? How white's 60-point potential over here is just gone.
But has this weakened this group again?
Yes, but as long as we have enough space to make two eyes, we don't care.
If we can live, we're fine.
If we can live, we're fine. Because we got enough compensation out of it. So if this causes us to die, yes, we care.
It doesn't, but it's not dead yet.
It's really hard to kill it at this point. Just because even if white starts playing moves like this, they still have moves like this. So we can make shape or we can connect out. White will have to let us decide. So white can't really pop out our eyes directly without making a whole bunch of preparatory moves first. And hopefully, if you're playing Go and you see your opponent making a bunch of preparatory moves, choose one not to respond to, hopefully the smallest one, and go live. Okay? So this is a very, very tempting problem to just go play a really big move. But this move is actually, even though it's really small and unassuming, is actually worth more.
It does serve a couple purposes.
And it does two things. Whereas this one, it's really, really big.
Just gives you 100 points.
60.
60.
60. Yeah. Okay? All right, good. I think this is the most open board, right, of all the problems?
I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
So white has influence again.
White has a lot of influence. What does black have?
Corner. 1 week group. Or no, never mind. It's a lie.
Yeah, this is like a 25-point corner. That's not small. That's a big corner. And we have 2 other cornerstones. So how do we win? How do we not lose as black?
Is this dead?
Nope. Count the liberties. How many does this have?
The white group's dead.
Yeah, how many does black have? Yeah. That's why it's so big. So what do you want to do?
It seems like the biggest part of the board is half the board.
Biggest part of the board is half the board. That narrows down.
About extending over here to in front of the
Okay.
Shamari.
Show me the point.
Under the star point.
Show me the point.
Under the star point.
Went over.
Oh no! Oh, this is. Oh, okay. That's cool.
All right, we can do nominations here. Let's do democracy. It's election season, right? You guys vote?
That's crazy go.
It's crazy. It's crazy go. I voted. I put my ballot in the mail today. I voted. So let's do it. Let's do it democracy style. What are nominations?
Is that the?
These star points.
Star point and the point below the star point. Anything else? I don't know why it keeps stopping recording.
Just realized I had a picture in the top and no counter.
Questions?
Okay.
How long ago?
I don't know.
All right, fun. My regular camera should be back next week. I know. I did forget to delete the last video. I hope it has enough memory left on that phone.
Is that why it stopped?
Well, it's recording again, so it's hopefully not. But if we play fourth line, to shoulder hit this is actually really painful now. Because when black responds, it's basically going to be Sente for a while. It's going to be, and black's going to be building fourth line territory instead of third line territory.
Was that black? Would you want to go there? Or does black want to go the other?
Oh, black, yeah, black could go all sorts of places.
I'm saying that once white does the shoulder hit, this black just want to come out like this.
Could do that. I would be hard pressed not to push this way, but sure.
That seems more consistent with the style of you get that third, I'm going to get this half.
Yeah, but black's not trying to take the half, right? Black's playing territorial.
White's the one that's playing towards the middle. We're just playing to counter it.
Exactly. We just have enough of a center presence that the middle is too small. We're not trying to take the middle ourselves.
Oh, we just want.
Right. It's sort of like saying, okay, I'm going to have a competition with Usain Bolt. We could either do a foot race or we could play a game of Go. I don't really want to do the foot race. Okay, it's not going to go well.
His wife's been preparing for it.
Yeah, like the last 18 years of his life, this is all he's done. So we're going to play our own game. We're just going to make sure that
Our game's bigger than theirs.
that's right. We're playing the better game. Okay? All right, last table. 2 boards. All right, so what's going on? I think this is actually also one of the trickiest problems here. This is certainly one of the most subtle ones. So what's going on this board?
White split black.
White is split black where? Show me. Okay, that side. You can see he's split black at the top too.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's cool. So what's weak?
Corner.
Yeah, I want to teach you guys how to better answer this question. When I say, so what's going on here? You say, points. has a base. Potential. Can be pushed around, but nothing's really weak.
Okay.
Okay? That's the type of...
So that lone black stone, are we counting that as weak, or is that?
Is it weak?
Not even started yet.
Yeah, why is
White
this...
stone on the horizon there.
Yeah,
So black's two stones can be weak.
yeah, these are actually the weaker stones, right? This corner is weaker than this
Got
corner.
white on both sides.
Because it's already got white.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
White's undercutting both sides.
I
Well,
mean,
it's aiming to undercut.
Aiming.
yeah. This is the weird part. Like this is if you can realize this, you've just upped your go ability quite a bit. Okay, because even though it's like one stone and it looks like visually like it's weaker, and there's two stones here, so it must be stronger. We actually have white groups on both sides, so we're actually weaker in that corner, and that's the important thing to realize. So, what do we want to do about it?
You don't want to kick the white stone. You're just fixing white's problem.
I would say kicking is not the worst thing you can do in the world.
Okay.
It's okay. But it doesn't really help us.
Yeah. So kind of
Extend towards the
So we won't make this extension.
approach the white stone.
No.
Cap the white stone.
Cap the white stone.
That's a different game, I guess.
The middle, we're not trying to build the middle. It's,
Sorry, maybe something
Extend
there.
towards it.
Yeah.
yeah, this is a nice move. This is the correct answer, in fact. And so why is it the correct answer? Well, what happens if we push the stone this way?
White would go the other way.
Yeah, now what?
Now you're
Bigger problem.
Now we can actually see we're weak. And it's actually kind of hard to know what to do about it. We could play a really, really slow move like this,
ouch.
and then give white another really big point, probably there. And then all of a sudden white has the bigger potential. Resign. We could try to lean on this, but if we do that, we're just going to make white stronger. If we kick this, this is very bad shape.
Yep, been there.
Been there, tried that, didn't work. So this isn't the corner that needs the help. So we push this way.
And it goes that way.
And
Now
I
you can
place
do
it.
that corner.
And now we could kick this and yeah, we could play there. And even though white can invade here, black is safe. White needs at least one other move to do something serious. And in this case, white isn't necessarily wanting to make this exchange, because once I make this into a completely solid 15 points, this group is very weakened.
It's in trouble.
So this is the expected outcome. And white can always invade here, but if white does, we can actually come back and counterattack this, or just make the wall here and just take our 10 points. Okay? So the key to this problem was realizing that this was actually the weakest thing on the board and playing in the correct direction to prevent it from getting weaker. Cool? All right, final problem. So I'll tell you that when I did this problem in the book for the first time, or I should say earlier today, I guess I've done this problem again years ago. I haven't thought about it in 7 or 8 years. The move that I picked was actually wrong, according to the book answer, but it was very, very close, so I give myself half credit. So I want to inflict this problem upon you guys. And so tell me what's going on.
Okay.
Weak? Yeah, these stones are kind of a liability right now. Do we have to do anything about it right now?
Not terribly.
It takes more than one move.
Is there a way to fix it with one move?
Yes.
Actually, there is, yeah. We could more or less fix it with one move.
And I think it takes more than one move for white
To harass it?
completely, not to harass it, but to completely cut it off.
Well, let's try. What do you want to play? Which honey?
Black comes out up here.
Yeah. Now you have.
You'll turn alternative is
It's
like,
difficult.
Yeah,
It's very difficult. I mean, we can try.
I'm less than happy about this.
We can try, fighting here somehow. But White's is going to gradually steamroll this as we get out, and or just connect up in Sente.
Or both.
Or both. Maybe both.
That's what usually happens to me.
And actually, maybe that connection is a bad connection. I don't even know what the best move here is for Black. It's actually very painful for Black to deal with this.
Okay. So then Black has to do something about it first.
Okay, what do you want to do?
well, if black lets it go, white gets here, does going underneath still keep this alive?
So, I mean,
If black was there, I'm thinking this.
Yeah, White. No, you're even worse off.
even worse off.
Worse off. I've been there.
It's a nice place in the summer.
Yeah.
So now that your group is under attack, White can also start poking around in here. And before, this corner was open. But if White does this now, or Black does this now, what's going to happen to these? So basically, these points that weren't supposed to be Whites will end up being Whites, and we'll have a weak group versus weak group fight.
So
What about on that, with the white descent at the beginning, we mentioned the Hane, but then we didn't look at it.
This honey?
On top of it.
Oh, yep, sure. Another way to do it. White will Hane back. What do you want to play now? So natural move is extension. I think this is slightly better. But if we just play the extension,
White just comes with you.
it's very difficult.
Fine before White even descends. In the first place.
We can't.
So going back to the problem, you would play here. Yes?
Maybe.
This is the move that I would play instinctively. This is why I got the problem wrong.
Ah.
And there, yes,
This is very submissive.
yeah,
you try to connect.
Yeah, but now later on, white can do this way. Like you're safe,
But
but
they're just
if you don't respond, now there's the problem again. What do you think, Maya? Yeah, this is the answer in the book that is given.
What about
I did that.
we just
I
looked
did
at
that
that,
after.
didn't we?
No, I did that after.
No,
the
this is
descent.
after White already has
You gotta
this.
do it first.
You have to do it first.
Okay.
Yes. And well, now you just play here. White can't get out, which is kind of nice. Exactly what we want, in fact. There are a lot of shapes. I just want to show you a shape that's wrong in this case, actually. Often in this case, you'll see a move like here for Black, to which White will respond here. And so this looks very natural to my eye, because this is a very, very common variation. However, in this game, White played here before Black played here. So actually playing here now for Black is actually inferior. That would actually make it a good exchange for White, believe it or not. And the reason is because now Black actually has less potential this way because White has a stone here. So this stone is less valuable. So that's why we want to play more defensive, tighter, and just remedy the situation.
What about this?
I'm a little bit concerned that you have these elephant eye cuts in here now that might work the exact same way as before. I'm not sure. Because before, when this is here, we can just cut this off.
Yeah.
When this is here, it's not as clear to me that we can actually cut. If we do it this way.
It's looking very similar to what we had before.
No, black is actually much safer than before.
Right.
But everyone's shape is stupid.
Everybody's sad.
And because Black invested an extra move in there, if everyone has stupid shape, that's good for White. Right? Because Black can't really cut here. I mean, he can.
But now,
But White will play another move to get out first, and then probably find time to come back and connect and harass this.
Okay.
So anyway, it's just a little problem about, especially when white has a stone here. This stone can be very strong. Or if white doesn't have a stone here, we can play here, we can play here. We have other moves that help us deal with it.
So the result here was that those 5 black stones are like very critical. They urgent.
Well,
Are urgent.
it does. These stones do 2 things for us. They give us a lot of points, and they keep not only this strong, but this strong as well.
Yeah.
So that allows us to play moves like this later.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that as far as looking at the initial board position, the key thing is that these are urgently in the need of attention.
Yeah, it was an urgent kind of problem. Okay, so that was a lot. What did we learn?
The opening's hard.
That was what?
That middle game is attacking.
Yeah, the middle game involves invading and attacking, and we're still in the opening, and it's hard to determine when to invade and when to keep playing opening type moves. The moves we're looking for are usually the biggest thing on the board, but often that gets trumped by the most urgent thing on the board. Right? Most of these problems are really about urgent moves. Yeah, I don't think any of these problems had any invasions. Right? I think I stayed true to my word.
Right.
That was a
Setting
big
up
clue.
invasions. But
Yeah, so absolutely, setting up for the middle game is what you do in the opening. So I made no claim to not having moves that don't set up for the middle game. What? Anyway, so that's all. All right?
Thank you.
All right, good deal. Thank you, guys.